What's up, you guys? It's Cody coming back at you with another video, and today's finally the big day. We are going to finally start the install of the KC300 turbo. Now, as many of you guys have been following along know, we were waiting on the up pipes. It was the last piece of the puzzle that we needed to start this project. I didn't want to start this job without having everything we needed, so we finally got our up pipes. There they are. Got them from BD Diesel. Super happy that they finally came in. So now we have everything that we need. We have our KC300 turbo, our exhaust back pressure valve delete pedestal, collector and up pipes, all new intercooler boots, plenum reinforcing inserts, all new clamps, every clamp for the intercooler boots. We have the clamp for the down pipe, the up pipe, and the turbo spider. All new hardware for the pedestal, for the turbo, O-rings, everything. This is for the up pipe, so we have everything we need here, hopefully, to do this job in one shot and not have to order any parts or wait for anything to come while the truck is down. So this is it. Finally gonna do the install. I cannot wait. I'm super excited for this one. Real quick, before we start the install, I just want to announce that we will be doing another No Half-Ass Apparel giveaway, okay? So same way to enter as last time, simply leave a comment down below and you will automatically be entered into the giveaway to win some No Half-Ass Apparel merchandise. Leaving a comment down below enters you into the giveaway to win a hat of your choice. We have these two hats here. We can go over it more with the winner, or a decal. Now, we have two different decals, and we have the large decal on the back of the truck, which is also an option for the winner. Now again, leaving any comment down below enters you into the giveaway, but let's get this video to 125 likes before we announce the winner next week. And if we get this video to 125 likes, the winner will receive a hat of their choice and a decal of their choice, okay? So make sure you guys like this video so the winner has a chance to win one of these hats and either one of these decals or the large No Half-Ass decal that you saw on the back of my truck. So enough about that, let's get back into the install. Now, I will be starting this project hopefully tomorrow morning. As you can see, it's gonna get dark soon. It's gonna be about 100 degrees tomorrow at the high, so it's gonna suck. My plan is to probably pop my hood, and I'm gonna back the truck up a little bit, give me some room, pop the hood up, and then put a tarp from there to this thing that I have in front of my house. So hopefully we have a nice shade covering with the tarp over the engine bay, so that way, you know, I don't get super sunburned, because that does happen to me. So and so I don't die of heat exhaustion. We don't want that. At least I don't. Now, as you can see, there are some rags underneath my truck. That is because I did already start spraying the up pipe bolts with some PB Blaster. I'm gonna go ahead and soak them again tonight so they can soak overnight. So hopefully when we start taking those apart, they come out pretty easily. I do live in California, so I mean, just about the only good thing I can think about as far as living here is not a lot of rust on my truck. I can't really think of anything else at the moment, but yeah. Anyways, enough of that. Let's go ahead and start getting this install. Let's do it. All right, you guys, we got ourselves a bit of shade over the truck. So this is obviously gonna be a pretty big job, and it's hot as heck. So we wanna make sure we're nice and comfortable. Prop the hood up just for safety. Now we can start tearing things apart. Let's get to it. Now, I just took all this off not that long ago when I painted the intercooler pipes and the spider, so everything's coming off pretty easily since it was just off not that long ago. But if you haven't taken any of this off for a long time, or maybe even ever, some of it's going to be a lot more of a struggle. But like I said, I just did it, so it's going pretty smooth so far. Now let's go ahead and get our intake out of the way. Alright you guys, so we got a lot of stuff out of the way already. It's only been about 20 minutes, but I've done this like at least 2 or 3 times now. So maybe once or twice I've taken the spider out. So it's going pretty quick and easy so far, but we have never taken the turbo out, so I don't know how well that's gonna go. Next, we're gonna remove the high pressure oil crossover, and then we can remove the downpipe. We'll take the bolts out of the turbo, and then try and remove the clamp from the up pipe collector to the turbo. Can't really even get you a view of it from here, but yeah, that'll be the next step. So let's keep on going. Alright, so this is our exhaust back pressure valve sensor plug, I believe. We got the dummy for that because the new exhaust back pressure valve delete pedestal obviously doesn't need this plug because it's the delete. But if you have this unplugged, you'll throw a code. So I showed you guys in the other video, we have our dummy plug that we plug in place of that, and it eliminates the code, so nothing will show up. So we'll go to unplug that and put the dummy plug in now. So if you guys didn't catch that, this little metal tab right here, you're gonna pull it up and out, and it's gonna unhinge off of this, and then it just unplugs right nice and easy like that. And this dummy plug looks like, okay, it only goes in one way. Pretty obvious how it goes in. You guys should be able to figure that out. Plug that in like that. Throw the tab back over. Kind of tight. Oh, there it goes. There you go. Dummy plug in place. We should not get any codes now. All right, now let's see how it goes unbolting the turbo. I have a 1/2-inch socket on there right now, and it's actually really tight. There's a possibility that it actually is a metric size, but the 1/2-inch socket fit on there really tightly, which is good, less chance of stripping anything. So I'm gonna use the 1/2-inch. All right, it came loose. It was pretty tight. I was gonna stop and put some PV blaster on there. I recommend it. I should have done it. I'll probably try and do it on the backside because it was pretty tight, and you don't want to strip anything, even though we're taking the exhaust back pressure valve delete pedestal, or we're taking the factory pedestal out. So if we did strip it in there, wouldn't be a huge deal, but just recommend spraying some PV blaster in there. I wanted to see how it went without it, and it did work. Excuse my ripped glove. But yeah, we got it. All right, now I got a little excited and wanted to see how well those were gonna come out, so I broke it loose and took it out a little bit. But before I take it out all the way, and before I even break the back one loose, I'm actually gonna take off the down clamp and try and take off the clamp off the collector to the up pipes to the back of this turbo housing. So I'll take those clamps off first, and then we'll go back to these turbo bolts. Now I took my up pipe off, obviously, when I did the straight pipe, so it might not be that hard to come off, but if you've never taken that off, I can almost guarantee you it's gonna be really hard to take it off. But I'll show you how I get it off pretty easily. I have a pretty good method to doing it. It worked really well last time. All right, once you get that nice and loose, if it's stuck on there, actually mine looks like it's gonna kind of come right off, but I'll show you guys anyways. If yours is stuck on there pretty good, you have the little metal piece underneath. I'm not sure if I'm blocking the camera, but underneath you have the little metal V-band. And what I did last time, when it was the first time I was taking it off, is I took this, what this is called a cat's paw, a pry bar would probably work as well. And you take it from this back side and you put it up against that V that I was telling you about, to where it's stuck on it. Right there, I'm kind of like pinched on it. Let me get you a better view. So I've got it up against the end of the V. But once you get that there, just take a little mallet and you tap it loose, and I don't know if you saw it, but my downpipe already fell loose. If you have to do it to all three, you can. It's kind of tight to get to them, but once I knocked that one loose, the whole downpipe fell, and this clamp should be completely loose. Okay, so here's where I went wrong, you guys. Trying to give you guys advice, and I forgot to even do it correctly, but what you want to do is actually take this completely off. Oh yeah. To the point where you can actually slip that bolt out like this. And then once you do that, well, that even came out, that'll help. Then you can get your cat's paw in there even easier and knock those pieces loose like I showed you. Mine is already off. So we got the downpipe clamp off. Now let's go ahead and get to the up pipe clamp, which you can see the bolt right there. We'll put the socket on that and take that out. we'll see how hard it is to get that off. Hopefully it goes just as smoothly as the downpipe. Now that we got that clamp loose, I think some people will actually unbolt the turbo and try to wiggle the turbo out so the clamp falls off. I'm gonna go ahead and try our cat's paw method real quick and see how well that goes. Once again, let's take our nut and the bolt all the way out. Just like that. The bolt fell, but that's all right. So I was able to get one of the V-bands disconnected from everything on the clamp using the cat's paw. Just one came off, the other ones I can't really get to. So now I'm gonna try and continue taking off the turbo and then see if we can wiggle the turbo out of there and make the clamp fall off that way, or at least pull it out some more and get some more room to get to that clamp. All right, back one came out pretty much just as easily as the front one. Back one's out. Well, our turbo is off the pedestal. This is gonna suck. So the only thing holding it out now is that clamp for the up pipe collector. So we gotta figure out a way to get that loose. Oh yeah, cat's paw does it again. Cat's paw and a hammer. And we got one more V-band on this clamp. One more V-band on that back clamp attached on the bottom. We got the two side ones off, just one left to go, but it will not break loose and I can't get to it with my cat's paw. Let's try and pry this thing out. There we go. I think I just heard it disconnect. Ooh, a couple big pry bars. Just be careful with where you're prying on. And I think we're good. Ow. Ow, I smashed my hand. Still stuck on the clamp even though the clamp's disconnected. There we go. That's the one that sucks right there. So basically I was able to break this one loose by putting the cat's paw on it. Either like this or over here I did it. And then this one was the same thing. But this bottom one you can't get to with anything. At least I couldn't. But those two big pry bars under the turbo, wiggle the hell out of the turbo. Prying it up, the front end up and lifting it up as you saw. You guys saw right there what I did. Seemed to do the trick. Now, let's get this heavy thing out. Oh man, am I still attached on something? Oh, I am. Oh, the exhaust back pressure valve control, a little control arm thing. How do I take that out? All right, now we got it, and I'll show you how I got that valve control arm off right when I get this turbo out. I never seen anyone do that in a video, so I'll show you how I did it. But basically, damn, I had to get this thing out. There we go. So like I said, I haven't really seen this in anyone else's video, but basically to get this off, there's a little tab right here that you have to slide in towards the pedestal. That way, towards the pedestal, a little tab. You slide it, and then when you slide it over towards the pedestal, that little tab right there, the pin comes out from there. Now check this out. I have not loosened any bolts on the up pipes or up pipe collector. Check this out. Completely loose. No wonder you see all that soot right there, and there's soot on the other side. That collector is completely loose from the pipes. These little clamps, the factory ones here, they don't work. That's why we're changing those. All right guys, so that sucked pretty bad. I'm hoping that's the worst part of this job, which was due to that clamp on the up pipe collector to the turbo, how much that was stuck. I mean, taking the turbo out physically wasn't that hard once that was off. Just taking that back clamp off was the hardest part so far. A couple hours in and we've taken everything out except for the pedestal, which should be pretty easy, and the up pipes. I don't see those being too bad either. Let's go ahead and remove this pedestal and find out. By the way, if you're still here and watching me struggle and sweat my ass off, please subscribe. I'd appreciate that. All right, so we've got 4 bolts holding this turbo pedestal down. They are a 10mm socket. I did not find a standard one that would work, at least not without risk of stripping it. So you're gonna wanna use a 10mm. That one's already broken loose. Don't seem too bad. Oh yeah, that one's already nice and loose, ready to pull out by hand. One here. Turbo pedestal bolts are not bad at all. So for this back one here, you're gonna wanna have like some swivel type extensions. Straight extension doesn't really work because the up pipe collector is in the way. So you do want some type of swivel or an extension that allows some swivel. As you can see, my extension is not a straight extension. Let's see, I gotta get this focused for you. You can't really tell, but it does have some play, some swivel, not just a straight locking extension, so that helped. All right, that was easy. Pedestal's not bad. Make sure you remove the old O-rings. All right, let's start undoing the bolts on the up pipes. This is the bottom. On the driver's side, I'm gonna need a wrench. Socket can't get in there. Oh, backside. Duh. Backside's a different size. All right, you guys, this sucks. I've got oil dripped all over me. The driver's side bottom part of the out pipes was super hard to get those bolts out. Driver's side, I just can't even get to the top bolt on the bottom part of the out pipes. So they're about back here somewhere. That's them right there. So I'm going to remove the inner fender wall on the driver's side in order to get to it easier. Don't really want to, but I think that's what needs to be done. All right, you guys, we got all the bolts on the bottom of the up pipes loose and off. We're moving a little quick in the video, so let me slow it down a little bit and show you guys what we got going on here. Now, before you guys start this job or trying to remove your up pipes, I definitely recommend having a 10mm wrench. I did not have one, and that made this a lot harder because you do need it for backup. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of metric tools. I don't have any metric wrenches. I use mostly standard at work, but you do want some metric, a 10mm, a regular 10mm wrench to back up the bolt head side on the top and bottom. This side I was able to get it after struggling to find something that would work. I was able to get it with this little tiny ratchet and a little tiny 10mm socket, which I can't find right now. But I was able to get it with this little one and a little tiny short 10mm socket. But it definitely would have been a lot easier with a 10mm wrench. The other side, I could not even get it with that same ratchet and socket. I had to actually take an old 3/8 wrench and shave it down with a cutoff wheel to make it basically the size of a 10mm in order to get up in there and back up that top one. Not the bottom one here that you can see, but the top one. and it just would have been a lot easier if I had a 10mm wrench, so I definitely recommend that. But pretty much other than that, we did make the job a lot easier taking off the inner fender wall on the passenger side, so you can do that as well in order to get to that top bolt right there. You get to it from out here outside by the frame after taking out the inner fender wall. So that's pretty much it. The bottom ones are all loose. The bolts are ready to come out. There's that one. That nut is off as well on the bottom. So let's go ahead and start trying to wiggle these things out. We'll see if we could do it without loosening the bolts on the top, because as we saw, the collector on the top of the up pipe is already loose, so I don't know if these are going to slip right out or if I'll still have to go up there and loosen those bolts. Let's start down here, start wiggling these things and see if they'll come out from the bottom, and then we'll jump on top and take the collector off and then pull the last pipe out, or it'll come with the collector. We'll see what happens. I'll let you guys know. So this is the driver's side, but the passenger side up pipe does not look like it can come out from the bottom because it hits the main exhaust manifold, the exhaust pipe on the passenger side, so it can't come down. This is the driver's side. I can't really seem to get it to come down either, although there's more room down here. I'm gonna go up top and see if I can pull the collector off now that both sides on the bottom here and on the passenger side are loose. We'll see if we can pull that collector off from up top. Okay, there we go. All right, and the collector's out from the top again. I didn't even have to loosen the bolts. See, the bolts are still in there. I didn't even have to loosen those. It slipped right out. All we did was loosen the bottom, and then you can get this off. Let's see if we could pull this one out from up here. Oh yeah, there's that one. And see if this one comes out from up here, or if it needs to come out from the bottom. Oh no, it comes out right here, no problem. All right, so our old up pipes are finally out, and yeah, let me tell you guys, that was the worst part about this job. That was way worse than removing the V-band clamp from the collector to the turbo. Was taking those bottom bolts off of these up pipes, these ones right here, down underneath the truck, especially on my truck. You know, sometimes my truck being lifted makes it easier to work on it because I can sit underneath it, but sometimes it's at a point where I'm sitting and things are so high I could barely reach them that I'm straining, but I'm also, it's not enough room for me to get on my knees. I'm sitting on my butt, and it's just, sometimes it's worse. But either way, we got them out. Let's go ahead and start on getting the new ones in. All right, now based on the videos that I've seen and the advice that I've actually been given by some of my subscribers, the best way to go about reinstalling the new up pipes is to install this side, which is the passenger side, first. So we're gonna put this on there, bolt it up, tighten it all the way so that way that gasket's tight and nice and compressed. And then we'll go ahead and slip this in from the top, jump down on the bottom, we'll put these bolts in, but we won't tighten them, we'll leave them loose. Then I've been told I can either install the other side, the driver's side up pipe from there, or I can actually put the turbo in place and then do this up pipe after, but I think that's gonna make it pretty hard to get to these bolts. So I'm gonna do this first and then we'll put the turbo on. But again, I'm gonna pretty much leave all of it loose except for these ones. I'm gonna leave the bottom sides loose, put the turbo on and tighten that V-band clamp first. Then I'll tighten the bottom of the up pipes, and then we will tighten the turbo down to the pedestal. You guys will see as we go. I'll put this in place. Goes between this side of the head and the up pipe, I believe. I mean down pipe. Should be right around there somewhere. Jump down the bottom and line that up. All right, so we got the bolts in on top and we got the bolts in on the bottom to the exhaust manifold, and still have plenty of room, plenty of wiggle. So that's what we want. Let's go ahead and get the driver's side up pipe in. Now, apparently the best way to do the driver's side is from the bottom. Bring it, you want to feed it in from the bottom and then put it on the exhaust manifold side, put the two bolts in, and then you can come up here and since this has so much room, we can lift it up and put the gasket in and then put that side in and put the two bolts in there. see, plenty of room. Clean this up a little bit. Get some of the grease and dirt and grime. I don't know if I'm blocking the camera. Sorry if I am, but basically I lifted it off here using my other hand, and I'm cleaning off in here. Make sure that we got it all nice and clean. Get to the back side. Now let's take our gasket. Slip our gasket in. Yep, put this back on. Boom, there you go. Up pipes are pretty much installed. Obviously we gotta tighten everything, but we're gonna do that after we do get the turbo in and stuff. All right, we got all the bolts in for the up pipes and the collector, but again, nothing is tightened all the way. So we got some wiggle room. Next, let's install the turbo pedestal. Then we can put the turbo to the collector, and then we'll just keep on going from there. By the way, as I'm sure you guys saw, I got to those two from underneath the truck using extensions. Definitely way easier. There's pretty much no room for this one over here with a ratchet. So from underneath the truck with some extensions is the easiest way. I tightened them up all the way and then just backed off on them a little bit so that way they were kind of loose. All right, here comes the pedestal. Now I have the 4 bolts in order to help me just place this thing down in the direct location it's supposed to be over the O-rings. I can just line those bolt holes up, and I know the O-rings will be in the right spot, or the pedestal I should say. There you go. Sorry, I think I was blocking the camera again, but we got the 4 bolts in. Well, at least we're putting them in. We got 2 in over here. Like I said, I had those 4 bolts in the pedestal and then set this thing down directly over the bolt holes. That way I know I placed this thing over the O-rings correctly. I don't want to place it over the O-rings wrong and then wiggle it and then move those O-rings or something, or rip them. Alright, now I know this is gonna suck. So let's try and get that up pipe collector clamp on the back of the turbo. Alright, so the clamp is on there but not tightened yet. You can't see it from here, but it turns out I tried putting the clamp on the up pipe collector first and then putting the turbo on, and the clamp just ended up being in the way, so I took the clamp completely off. I put the turbo housing up against the up pipe collector so that was lined up, and then I opened up the clamp all the way and put it around the connection. So now it's on there. It's pretty much holding the turbo housing to the collector, up pipe collector, so it's not moving, but it is loose. So let's go ahead and tighten that up now. All right, you guys, it's the next day. I just got home from work. Man, it's hot. It's actually 100 degrees flat right now, but we got to get this done because it's actually gonna be hotter the next 3 days. So let's go ahead and get into it. Not much to go actually. We actually got all what I think is gonna be the hard part done. So we have the up pipes in, the turbo is in, the turbo pedestal is in, and we got our high pressure oil crossover line back in. All the turbo and pedestal bolts are tightened and torqued down. So everything there should be done. We just got to do the downpipe clamp and put the turbo spider back in, which is easy. I've done that multiple times, and put our new intercooler boots in, and that's it. So shouldn't be much longer. Just to go over this a little bit, like I said, this has been a pretty difficult job, and the tougher the job is, the harder it is for me to get good footage because I'm struggling to get it done. So sometimes the camera's just rolling for 10 minutes while I struggle, and then I edit it down. Sometimes even the camera gets knocked over and I can't stop what I'm doing, whatever. But just to go over this a little bit with you guys, so far for me, the hardest part was getting the bolts off the bottom of the up pipes. I don't think it would have been that hard if I had that 10mm wrench I told you guys about, but since I didn't have that, it was just such a struggle to get those bolts out. The second hardest part was getting the clamp off of the up pipe collector to the turbo, and the third hardest part was putting that clamp back on. But other than that, I think those were the three hardest things, especially the up pipes themselves and that clamp to the collector to the turbo. So all that's done. I think the hard parts are all done. We just got to change our intercooler boots and put our spider back on, which is super easy to do. So let's go ahead and get back into it, and then we'll go for a drive and check this thing out. All right, first thing I want to take care of is this downpipe clamp. Let's get it out of the way since it's towards the back before we even try and put our turbo spider in. All right, downpipe is installed. Now let's go ahead and change these lower boots right down there on the lower end of these intercooler pipes to the new updated riffraff boots. So let's see if we can do that without taking that pipe all the way out. I'm hoping I can just undo one clamp and slip the pipe back a little bit, undo the other clamp, and then slip these down in there. Of course, I'll clean up all the connections and stuff, but let's see if we can do it like that. All right, so since the passenger side intercooler pipe is kind of a pain to remove completely, I was able to just pull it back and get the new riffraff intercooler boot mounted on there without pulling that pipe completely out. I only tightened the side of the clamp that's down here towards the front of the truck. The side that's towards the back of the truck on the pipe itself, the intercooler pipe. I left that clamp loose because I want to place this pipe once I get the spider in place, because these boots are a little longer than the factory ones, so you have some play with it. This side, the driver's side intercooler pipe, is pretty simple to remove, so I'm going to go ahead and just loosen this side and remove that pipe completely, and then remove the boot, and then I'll put the new boot on there and then put the pipe back in and slip it into the new boot. So passenger side, I left the intercooler pipe. Driver side, I'm going to remove it completely. All right, so as you saw there, I got the plenum reinforcing inserts in the plenums. So next we're gonna actually get ready to put the spider on. Now, in the video where I painted my intercooler pipes and this spider, I showed you a little trick to reinstalling this that I learned from Diesel Tech Ron. And that trick is to put one of these boots on the bottom of the spider. You're gonna have that clamped there, and you're gonna take the other plenum boot and you're gonna actually clamp this onto the plenum. So this one will be clamped on the spider and this one will be clamped on the plenum. Then when you go to reinsert this, it's much easier to put one side in the plenum and then the other boot goes in on here, obviously. So I'll show you guys how that goes in case you missed that video, but it makes it way easier. All right, you guys, so as you can see, we have this plenum boot on here, and then on our turbo spider, we have the plenum boot on the other side. So we're gonna slip this in here. Slip this boot that was already on the turbo spider into the plenum first. Okay, so we slipped the side of the turbo spider that already had the boot on it, which is the passenger side. We slipped that onto the plenum as far as we could go. Now, on the other side, use a flathead screwdriver and pretty much feed it on. It's a lot tighter with these riffraff intercooler boots than it was with the factory ones, but it's pretty close, so I'm pretty sure we'll get it. All right, a little bit of a struggle since, like I said, it's a lot tighter with these riffraff intercooler boots than it is with the factory ones, but we did get them on. A little bit of a gap in here, but I'm sure our clamp here will close that up, and I'll hold it, I'll pull it while I tighten this to help it. But we're gonna put this clamp on before we tighten the intercooler boots on the plenums. All right, guys, more nightmare stuff happening. For some reason, whatever reason that is, I could not get the spider and the turbo to line up right there with the riffraff plenum intercooler boots, these riffraff ones. For whatever reason, I don't know, they're too stiff, and I could not get that to line up. There's a big gap in it, so I had to take these off and I put the factory ones back on. Unfortunately, I did not want to do that. All right, you guys, here's where we're at. My phone overheated, so I kept on going. So there's a little bit that I did that I didn't get on video. I was kind of mentioning to you right when my phone overheated that I had to put the factory plenum boots back on. So we do have the factory plenum boots, but we have the brand new clamps and we have the plenum reinforcing inserts. So I was able to tighten them pretty good. Hopefully that all works out and we have no issues there. Got the new intercooler boots on up here, completely tightened, and the ones on the bottom down here completely tightened. This went back in with the same 8mm headed bolt we took out. You know, simple. If you guys took this apart, you saw the video in the beginning. It's just everything in reverse. Put this line back on with this little clamp using channel locks. So that's tight, that's tight, that's tight, downpipe's tight. Pretty much everything as far as all that is done. All we need to do now is the intake. I wish I could say this was an easy home stretch, but I think this thing's gonna be a real pain in the butt to get on. It seems super tight, and I think I even need to remove this little adapter that's on my pre-existing intake. I'm not sure yet, I haven't figured it out. I might even have to remove this bracket. Hopefully I could do that pretty easily, I don't know. Let's go ahead and get to it and see what's next for getting this all done, and then the entire project's done. We're not gonna have the red line connected to our wastegate just because I don't even think it's necessary for the upgraded turbo, and it wasn't even connected on my stock turbo, so I'm not even gonna do that. All right, guys. We're officially done, but not without a fight. Now, let me go ahead and show you guys what I did for these last steps, because I did have a subscriber specifically ask me to show them how to install this 4-inch intake kind of boot thing that comes with the turbo. And let me tell you, it was not easy, and I tried to get on video, but it was so hard to install, let alone having a camera in front of me. I kept knocking the camera down, couldn't get a good view. I had to just go ahead and do it. So let me just go ahead and explain to you guys how I installed it. All right, now first of all, I was actually, I think, backwards about where this little thing sticking out of this piece. Remember I told you guys about it, and I put it over there. I think I was wrong, and I think that was backwards. I think it actually goes on this side, closest to the intake. So there it is, and our green wastegate tube is in it. Not sure if you can tell right there, but yep. But that green tube is inside of there, and it is on this side closer to the intake. Now, as far as installing it, if you guys remember at the beginning of the video, there was a metal bracket right here that this transitioning piece right here was actually bolted to. So this piece that the intake bolts to was mounted to this metal bracket. That was in the way. I had to unbolt that bracket and move it completely out of the way in order to install this. And then also, this is the clamp that came with it, and I could not get it on that side. No matter what I tried, it was way too tight. So that band right there is actually the band that used to be from here to the old piece. So I actually took that band and put it there, and it fit fine. And then the new band came on this side and it worked there. So Luckily, this is the suction side, so there's not going to be a lot of pressure buildup in here that's going to want to blow this out. This is the intake, it's the suction side, so we should be fine with the old clamp there and then the new clamp on this side. Now, as far as getting it on, I had to actually try a couple different things. Now, the first thing I tried was to get the back side over here, the back side that you can't see, on the turbo first, and then this front side was not on, and I tried to use like a screwdriver or a scribe to get it on. That was not going to work. This thing's way too stiff and that was way too tight. So the way I did it, you might have actually been able to see a little bit, is I actually put this front side on first, the top, to where the back side that you cannot see is not on, and I held it with this hand, and then I took my right hand and I stuck it in the tube all the way down and used my fingers to push the other side on from the inside. So that was the best way to get this thing on. I actually did it multiple times because I couldn't get the placement of it right, and then it's really hard to turn, so I had to take it off and try again, and it worked multiple times. So put this side on, the closed side of this tube, on the turbo first, and then for the back side, you can, without the intake in the way, with this completely off and all out of the way, you can stick your hand inside of the tube and put your fingers on the other side, on the back side inside of here, and push it onto the turbo. So that was the best way I did it. Again, sorry I couldn't get you a better video. It was super hard to do anyways, and with the camera there, it was just impossible. Again, other than that, guys, we're pretty much done with the install part, so we'll go for a drive in a minute. Once again, I'm sorry if this wasn't the best footage in the world. I couldn't get everything on video because this install was hard enough as it was, let alone trying to record at the same time. But I tried to go back and explain everything after it was done, so hopefully you guys got all the information you need and feel that you can do this job using this video, and hopefully it was as helpful as possible. So other than that, let's start this thing up and see how it goes. All right, you guys, we've been driving around a little bit. I didn't get hard on it at all, just drove it real light just to get it warmed up. Hopefully get all the air out of the oil side, so hopefully there's no more air in the system. Like I said, engine's nice and warm. It's a hot day, and it's a 190-degree oil temperature right now, 165-degree transmission temperature, so transmission's nice and warm, and our turbo should be nice and warm. So let's go ahead and really check this thing out. We've put 2 or 3 pounds on it, like I said, just driving real light and warming the truck up. But let's go ahead and check it out for reals and see what this thing's got. I felt that difference for sure. I felt that difference. Wow. I can feel quite a bit of difference for sure. I mean, like, I can just feel like the power is pushing my head back way more than normal, but as you guys can see there on my gauge, we're still only maxing out at 25 PSI on our gauge. I don't think that that's what I'm actually maxing out at, because I can feel like it has way more power, but our gauge is only showing 25 PSI. And I do, at some points when I gas it, I feel a bit of defueling. So I wanted to test this theory. Some people told me I would need the eBay boost fooler, the little map sensor boost fooler with the little regulator on it, that I would need that in order to pass 25 PSI. I wanted to test the theory of whether or not the Hydra took care of that. I know it doesn't really make sense, but the Hydra, it bypasses, you know, codes and the check engine lights and stuff. So I wanted to see if for any reason it would work for overboost defueling. Hard to tell, honestly. I don't even know if that was defueling. Maybe I'm just shifting at those moments. I'm shifting up. We'll run some more and see how it feels. I don't know if that was defueling that I experienced. You guys let me know what you think. I'm pretty sure the Hydra should be taking care of any defueling though. Yeah, I don't think it was defueling that I was experiencing. I think this truck was just shifting at weird. I must have been at, you know, weird moments right before shifting, and I'd gas and it'd shift up or whatever. but it definitely feels good, definitely feels more responsive. Hopefully there's a little bit of a break-in period with this turbo where, you know, it's going to get kind of loosened up and work a little better and better over time. I don't know for sure, we'll see, but it definitely feels pretty good. We're going to hit this hill right here. We're going to go up this hill and see how it feels there. Like I said, our edge is only hitting 25. You know, I would be less concerned if I was getting to 25 real easily and then felt like I was getting a lot more boost, but it does kind of seem like it really is just kind of barely getting to 25 psi, so it's a little bit of a bummer that this is getting 25 psi max, just like the stock turbo was, but it definitely does seem to have more psi at lower RPM, so that's nice. The truck gets up and goes way better and also spools up faster. It's just not maxing out any higher, it seems like, but I need to get a mechanical gauge to see for sure. That'll tell us what our real boost numbers are. I don't know how much I trust the map sensor. Honestly, you guys, I've been driving the truck for a little while now, you know, including warm-up time, and it honestly feels like it's like almost like getting better and better. Like that turbo, you know, it was brand new, never really, maybe other than testing, never really been spooled up too much, but right now it just feels like it's getting better and better. It's getting a little more and more responsive. That top end, I definitely actually even feel like it's hitting 25 psi easier now than it was the first few times I tried to max it out, so that's good. The other thing to keep in mind is that I am on stock injectors, so you know I can only get so much air into the engine without being able to meet it with a equal amount of fuel or a proper amount of fuel. You know what I mean? Only so much air I can get in and get performance out of without on the stock injectors. So once I upgrade the injectors, that'll probably make a huge difference. One thing I want to do is upgrade the injectors and the high pressure oil pump at the same time. I want to put a adrenaline high pressure oil pump because with the aftermarket turbo and aftermarket injectors, I'm just not sure if the factory HPOP can handle, you know, all those upgrades. So we'll do the high pressure oil pump at the same time. All right, going up another hill. It definitely doesn't seem like we're hitting 25 psi easily. I don't think I'm seeing much higher than that after all. It's getting to 25. It's getting to 25 psi every time I want it to, but it's like 23, 24, 25. It's not like hitting 25 and then it's like, oh, I'll definitely get more than 25. I think it is maxing out 25. I don't know what that is. Maybe you guys have some input you can give to me if you really think it really is just that I need bigger injectors ASAP, or if there's something else I'm missing as to why this KC300 is only maxing out at 25 psi. I don't hear any other leaks. I don't hear any leaks coming from any of the intercooler pipes. I actually already got out and checked. There's no soot on the up pipes. They seem good, so I'm not sure what's going on, but I mean, it's performing good, don't get me wrong. Alright guys, we are back, and that is it for this install video as far as the install goes, and thank God the install is over because that was not an easy job. But for those of you guys wondering, I spent about 6 hours working on it on Sunday and then came home from work Monday and spent about another 3 hours finishing up. So all in all, it took me about 9 hours, but again, everything takes me a lot longer when I'm making a video on it, having to record, set the camera up, review how it came out, and make sure I didn't at least usually try to make sure I didn't mess up and say anything wrong or whatever. So it just takes a lot longer when making videos. Honestly, I think by myself, especially if I had the right tool, if I had that 10mm wrench, started this job early on Sunday and wasn't making a video about it, I could have finished it in one day, probably 6 or 7 hours, I think. Just so if you guys are curious how long it would take, that's just, for me, that's what I think. Now again, I'm a little bummed that I'm still only seeming to max out at 25 psi. So like I said, you guys, if you have any input or thoughts as to why that might be and what I need to check on to see if I can get more out of this turbo, please comment down below. I'd be willing to check out anything you guys have as far as suggestions for me. I'll check it out. I'd like to maximize the turbo as much as we can. I would be really surprised if it really does only get 25 psi. Like I said, the stock one was getting that, so I don't know. Something seems a little weird. Then the intercooler pipes seem like they're out of place. The L pipes don't seem to be leaking. We don't have any oil leaks, so everything seems to be good and tight. No leaks, and I can't hear anything. So yeah, everything seems good there. Other than that, you guys, we're still gonna have a ton more content to come based off of this turbo. Like I said, I want to do a video showing you guys how much of a difference the tip makes on turbo whistles. So I'll do a comparison of with and without the tip. And trust me, if you guys don't already know how much of a difference a tip makes on on turbo whistle, I think you guys will be blown away. It makes a huge difference. You guys will see that in that video, so stick around for that. We still need to do the test that we did comparing the stock turbo at 2000 RPM and 2500 RPM, so we can see what the difference is on boost with the KC300 to the stock one at those normal driving RPM ranges. So that's another video. So tons more to come, tons more content to come. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and it was everything you guys were hoping to get out of the install video. I hope I gave you guys all the information you're hoping for that job, and feel confident to do it yourself after watching this. Don't forget to comment down below so you can be entered into the giveaway to win No Half-Ass apparel merchandise, and hit the like button so that way the winner can receive both a hat and a decal. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hit the like button if you did, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.